There are moments when even the strongest voices falter. The people who inspire millions are not immune to pain. For over 4 decades, Pastor Rick Warren has been a guide, teacher, and source of strength for believers worldwide. Yet behind the books, sermons, and recognition, his life has been marked by personal loss and illness. The man who built a church from nothing, teaching others to find purpose, faced a body and heart that could no longer keep pace. What happened when the shepherd himself needed healing? Early life in Ukiah. Rick Warren was born Richard Dwayne Warren on January 28, 1954 in San Jose, California, and raised in Ukiah, a small town of quiet vineyards rather than megachurches. His father, Jimmy Warren, was a Baptist minister and carpenter, building churches for communities in need. His mother, Dot Warren, was a librarian who instilled a love of reading and curiosity in Rick. Their home centered on lived faith, not performance. From early childhood, Rick absorbed ministry life, watching his father preach, travel, and serve communities. One night, overhearing his father pray, "Lord, help me build one more church before I die," left an indelible impression. Discovering a sense of purpose. In school, Rick was not the most popular or athletic, but he possessed a rare clarity of direction. While classmates chased distractions, he spent hours studying theology, leadership, and the Bible. By his senior year, he was leading Bible studies and mentoring peers. In 1972, just before graduation, he founded the Fishers of Men Club, the first Christian group on campus, a bold move during a turbulent cultural era. Rick's focus on purpose and leadership distinguished him early. Even as a teenager, he displayed a determination to live a life of meaning, dedicated to faith and community service rather than personal acclaim. College years and divine confirmation. After high school, Rick enrolled at California Baptist University in Riverside, earning a Bachelor of Arts. His college years deepened his faith and clarified his calling. In November 1973, he and a friend drove 350 miles to hear the famed Baptist pastor W.A. Criswell speak in San Francisco. After the sermon, Criswell prayed over Rick, telling him, "You're going to make a difference for God." Warren later described it as divine confirmation. He earned a Master of Divinity from Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary in 1979 and a Doctor of Ministry from Fuller Theological Seminary. Yet it was his vision, not credentials, that set him apart. Building something new. Unlike many graduates seeking established churches, Rick felt called to create something new, a church for the broken, skeptical, and disillusioned. In 1980, he and his wife Kay moved west to Orange County, California, with no money, no building, and no congregation. They knocked on thousands of doors, asking strangers why they didn't attend church. Responses such as "It's boring" and "I don't feel welcome" shaped his approach. On Easter Sunday, April 6, 1980, they held their first service in a high school theater. 205 people attended. That day, Rick preached a daring faith, not as a sermon, but as a declaration. Saddleback Church had begun, early growth and challenges. What started as a small group grew rapidly. By the early 1980s, Saddleback Church expanded faster than any other new congregation in Southern California. People were drawn not to tradition, but to honesty. Rick's sermons were practical, relational, and empathetic. Yet the journey was grueling. Without a permanent home, volunteers set up and dismantled folding chairs, sound systems, and nursery equipment weekly. Despite exhaustion, Rick saw it as a test of faith. "We didn't have a building, but we had a vision," he said. His commitment and perseverance became the foundation for one of the most influential churches in the world. The milestone of permanence. After 13 years of temporary spaces, Saddleback built its first permanent worship center in Lake Forest, California, in 1993. The structure symbolized endurance and trust more than architecture. By then, the congregation had grown to over 10,000 weekly attendees. Rick's leadership emphasized purpose-driven principles, not size or spectacle. In 1995, he published The Purpose-Driven Church, outlining 5 biblical purposes: worship, fellowship, discipleship, ministry, and mission. Churches following this model saw growth and vitality. The book trained over 200,000 pastors worldwide. It laid the groundwork for his next monumental work, a book that would reach millions beyond church walls. Global recognition. On October 1, 2002, The Purpose-Driven Life was published, catapulting Rick Warren to global fame. The book distilled decades of teaching into a practical guide for living with purpose. Its success was unprecedented, touching readers of all ages and backgrounds. Yet behind the acclaim, Rick faced physical challenges. Spasms caused by a rare brain disorder made preaching, Multiple services exhausting. Doctors discovered that his body could not process adrenaline normally, leaving him trembling and disoriented. In 2022, he was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease causing chronic inflammation and constant muscle pain, making leadership physically unbearable. Retirement and transition. In June 2021, after 41 years, Rick announced his retirement as senior pastor of Saddleback Church. The news shocked many. The man who had founded and nurtured their spiritual home was stepping back. Yet Rick framed it not as an end, but as a new beginning. He passed leadership to Andy and Stacy Wood, ensuring continuity for the church's vision. As founding pastor, he shifted to mentoring, global outreach, and legacy projects. Even in retirement, his influence continues through initiatives like the HIV/AIDS program and Hope for Mental Health Ministry, affecting lives across continents. Lessons of pain and purpose. Rick Warren's journey illustrates that faith does not shield from suffering. It equips people to endure and grow through it. He has faced personal tragedy, health challenges, and the physical toll of decades of ministry. Yet his message emphasizes resilience, empathy, and the enduring power of purpose. He teaches that imperfection and struggle are part of life, and recovery is universal. Everybody needs recovery because nobody's perfect, he reminds followers. Even with global influence and spiritual authority, Rick's story reflects vulnerability and humanity, showing that strength often grows from acknowledging weakness. Enduring influence. Rick Warren's legacy is not measured by fame alone, but by the lives he has touched. From the early days in a high school theater to leading one of the world's largest churches, he demonstrated that vision, faith, and perseverance can overcome obstacles. His books, ministries, and humanitarian efforts have transformed countless lives. Despite physical limitations, he continues to mentor leaders, advocate for mental health, and promote global outreach. His story reminds us that even the strongest hearts can tremble, yet still make an enduring impact, proving that purpose persists, even in the face of pain. Finding meaning in suffering. Rick Warren once wrote, "You were made by God and for God, and until you understand that, life will never make sense." His life exemplifies that pain does not negate purpose, it often clarifies it. Through loss, illness, and challenge, Rick's faith remained unwavering. He teaches that leadership, service, and influence are built not on perfection, but on commitment, resilience, and empathy. His story encourages believers and skeptics alike to see suffering as part of life's journey, a crucible that shapes character, deepens compassion, and strengthens resolve to live intentionally. A legacy of hope. Rick Warren's life is a testimony to enduring faith, vision, and empathy. From building a church with nothing to mentoring leaders worldwide, he demonstrates the power of purpose. Even amid personal health battles and loss, his commitment to service and love for humanity shines. His story reminds us that pain, while unavoidable, can hold meaning. Life's trials do not diminish impact. They amplify the depth of connection and understanding we offer others. Rick's journey is proof that even when voices tremble and bodies falter, a life lived with purpose leaves an enduring mark on the world.